Hi guys, today's topic is chapter number 1, reproduction in organisms. The contents are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Introduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young offsprings similar to itself. The offsprings grow, mature and produce new offsprings. Thus, there is a cycle of birth, growth and death. Reproduction enables the continuity of the species generation after generation. When offspring is produced by a single parent with or without involvement of gamete formation, it is called as asexual reproduction. Whereas when two parents of opposite gender participate in the reproductive process and also involve in the fusion of male and female gametes, this is called sexual reproduction. Let's learn about asexual reproduction. A single parent or the individual is capable of producing offsprings which are identical with exact copies of their parent. Term clone is used to describe such morphologically and genetically similar individuals. It is common among the unicellular organisms, plants, animals with relatively simple organization. In Protista and Monera, the organisms or the parent cell divides into two to give rise to new individuals. Here, cell division itself is a mode of reproduction. The different modes of asexual reproduction includes fission, budding, regeneration, fragmentation, spore formation and vegetative propagation. What is fission? The term fission means splitting. The process of splitting of a unicellular organism into two or more daughter cells is called as fission. Under fission, there are two, binary fission and multiple fission. If the parent cell is split into two daughter cells, it is called as binary fission. Example, amoeba. If the same parent cell divided into multiple daughter cells, it is called as multiple fission. Example, plasmodium. The next mode is budding. Examples are hydra, yeast and gemmules in sponge. Here, a small outgrowth called bud develops due to repetitive cell division at one particular place of the body. This bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms a new individual. This process is called as budding. Let's go to regeneration. The word regenerate means regrow. Here, a parent cell is cut into multiple pieces and each piece grows into a new individual. Example, planaria. The next mode is fragmentation. Example, Spirogyra. The filament of Spirogyra simply breaks into two or more fragments on maturation. Each fragments grow into new species or new individuals. The next one is spore formation. Spore formation examples are Rhizopus, Penicillium. During unfavorable conditions, the coat protects the spores. During favorable conditions, the spores grow, get dispersed on germination and form new individuals. Based on the nature, the spores are classified into zoospores, example Chlamydomonas, endospores, aplanospores and sporangiospores, example Rhizopus, and the last example is Conidia in Penicillium. The last mode is vegetative propagation, a type of reproduction in which new plants are produced from parts of a mother plant such as root, stem or leaves. Without any help of reproductive organ is called as vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation through roots examples are potato and sweet potato. Vegetative propagation through stem example is money plant. Vegetative propagation through leaves, the example is bryophyllum. Now let's learn about sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the formation of male and female gametes either by the same individual or by different individuals of the opposite gender. These gametes fuse to form the zygote, which develops to form a new organism. Here, sexual reproduction results in offspring that are not identical to parents or amongst themselves. All organisms have to reach a certain stage of growth and maturity in their life before they can reproduce sexually. That period of growth is called as juvenile phase or vegetative phase in plants. The end of juvenile or vegetative phase, which marks the beginning of reproductive phase, can be seen easily in the higher plants when they come to flower. The next topic is events in sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is characterized by the fusion of male and female gametes for the formation of zygote and embryo genesis. These sequential events are grouped into three distinct stages, namely pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. Now, let's learn about pre-fertilization events. Two main pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Let's discuss about gametogenesis. The term gametogenesis can be divided into gameto, which means gamete, genesis means formation. It refers to the formation of two gametes, that is male gamete and the female gametes, which are haploid cells. In some algae, two gametes have so much similar in appearance which is not possible to categorize. Such gametes are called as isogametes or homogametes. Two morphologically distinct type of gametes are called as hetero gametes. Example, the male and the female gametes. The male gametes are called as antherozoid or sperm. The female gametes are called as egg or ovum. Plants have both male and female reproductive structures in the same plants. Such plants are called as bisexual plants. In several fungi and plants, terms such as homothallic and monoecious are used to denote the bisexual condition, whereas heterothallic and dioecious are used to describe the unisexual flowers or conditions. In flowering plants, unisexual male flower is called staminate, which bearing stamens, whereas the female flower is called as pistillate or bearing pistils. Some flowers, both male and female flowers, are present in the same plant called monoecious, or on the separate individuals called as dioecious. Example for monoecious are cucurbits and coconuts. Dioecious is papaya and date palm. In animals, bisexual animals, earthworms, sponges, tapeworm and leeches are the examples, also called as hermaphrodite. Cockroach is a very good example for unisexual species. Let's discuss about cell division during gamete formation. Gametes in all heterogametic species are of two types, that is male and female, and both are haploid cells. A haploid parent produces gamete by mitotic division. Several organisms like Monera, fungi, algae and bryophytes have haploid plant body. But in pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms and most of the animals, including humans, the parental body is diploid. It is obvious that meiosis, the reduction division, has to occur if a diploid body has to produce a haploid gamete. Here, these specialized cells called myocytes, also called gamete mother cell, which undergoes meiosis. At the end of meiosis, only one set of chromosome gets incorporated into each gamete. Let's learn few examples of myocytes and the gametes. Humans, 46, gametes are 23. Housefly, myocytes are 12, gametes are 6. Rat, myocytes are 42, gametes are 21. Dog, myocytes are 78, gametes are 39. Cat, myocytes are 38, gamete is 19. Fruit fly, 8 and 4. Ophioglossum is a fern, 1260, 630. Apple, 34, 17. Rice, 24, 12. Maize, 20, 10. Potato, 48, 24. Butterfly, 380, 190. Onions. Now, let's discuss about gamete transfer. After the gamete formation, male and female gametes must be physically brought together to facilitate fusion, which is nothing but fertilization. In majority of organisms, male gametes are motile while the female gametes are stationary. Exceptions in few fungi and algae where both are motile. A large number of male gametes fail to reach the females, and to compensate that, male gametes are produced in several thousands than the female gametes. In plants, Pollen grains are carriers of male gametes while the ovule has the egg. Pollen grains produced in anthers therefore have to be transferred to the stigma before it leads to fertilization. In bisexual, the self-fertilization takes place. The process of pollen grains reaching the ovule is called pollination. Successful transfer and coming together of gametes is essential for the most critical event in sexual reproduction, that is fertilization. Now let's learn about fertilization. The fusion of male and female gametes is called as syngamy, which results in the formation of diploid zygote. This process is called fertilization. In some organisms like rotifers, honeybees, lizards and turkey bird, the female gamete undergoes development to form new organisms without fertilization. This phenomenon is called parthenogenesis. Where does syngamy occur? In most aquatic organisms, algae, fish as well as amphibians, syngamy occurs in external medium outside the body of an organism. This type of gametic fusion is called external fertilization. Here the major disadvantage is that the offsprings are extremely vulnerable to predators threatening their survival. Many terrestrial organisms belonging to fungi, higher animals such as reptiles, birds, mammals, majority of plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, syngamy occurs inside the body of an organism. Hence the process internal fertilization. Male gamete is motile and has to reach the egg in order to fuse with it. Now let's learn about post-fertilization events. Events in sexual reproduction after the formation of zygote are called as post-fertilization events. It includes the zygote, the embryo genesis. Now let's learn about the zygote. Formation of diploid zygote is universal in all sexually reproducing organisms. Further development of zygote depends on the type of life cycle the organism has and the environment it is exposed to. The organisms like fungi and algae, zygote develops a thick wall that is resistant to desiccation and damage. Organisms with haplonotic life cycle, zygote divides by meiosis to form haploid spores that grow into haploid individuals. Zygote is a vital link that ensures the continuity of species between organisms of one generation and the next. Now let's learn about embryo genesis. It refers to the process of development of embryo from the zygote. During embryo genesis, zygote undergoes cell division, that is mitosis, and cell differentiation. Cell division increases the number of cells in the developing embryo, whereas cell differentiation helps group of cells that undergo certain modifications to form specialized tissues and organs to form an organism. Animals are broadly categorized into the oviparous and the viviparous animals. Reptiles, birds, the fertilized eggs covered by a hard calcareous shell are laid in a safe place in an environment after the period of incubation where young ones hatch out. Whereas viviparous, majority of mammals which include humans, the zygote develops into a young one inside the body of a female organism. After attaining a certain stage of growth, the young ones are delivered out of the body of a female organism. Because of the proper embryonic care and protection, the chances of survival of young ones is greater in viviparous organisms. In plants, zygote is formed inside the ovule. After fertilization, sepals, petals and stamens of flower wither and fall off. Pistil, however, is attached to the plants. The zygote develops into embryo and the ovule develops into seed. The ovary develops into fruit, which develops a thick wall called as pericarp, protective in function. After dispersal, seeds germinate under favorable conditions to produce new plants. Thank you.